welcome once again to my channel, and if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Put the notifications bell on so that you can get notified every single time I actually post a video. I keep saying that, but I do really mean it. I'm grateful for the community that we've been building on this channel, and on today's video I'm going to be answering one frequently asked question that has been over and over and over. I keep saying this, but I have to actually just go over it on a separate video so that I can settle it once and for all. So as the title of this video mentioned, this is about the Erasmus Scholarship and what does it cover. How much do you get? Are you covered for the whole period of time? Are you do you need a job within the period of time that you would be studying your masters, and all these kind of questions that usually come about usually on the community section of the Kenyan Erasmus community section, or on my inbox as well. So here we go. So one of the things that I have to say is that Erasmus is one of the most generous scholarship programs within the European Union, and I am so grateful that I went through this program, because I would never have known about it until I actually went through the whole process. So usually you find that there are several other scholarship programs within the European member states, but Erasmus usually encapsulates all of the member states and is actually very generous. So as you may already know, is that Erasmus is 100% European Union funded, and so what do you expect if you are a candidate or a successful candidate or a prospective candidate in this case? What do you expect to be covered during this scholarship period? So one of the things that you have to know for an Erasmus Mundus joint masters program is that they are for 2 years, right? So the program runs for 2 good years, which means those are 4 semesters, right? So the scholarship network, so each of the consortiums, depending on the degree that you choose, you will find that the participation cost will be covered, which means the tuition fees 100% is going to be covered. You will also get an insurance coverage, and then on top of that, what usually happens is that you are able to get 1,000 euros in stipend money, which is a monthly stipend, so 1,000 euros every single month for your upkeep, for your accommodation and food, etc. And then you are able to also get 3,000 euros in travel allowance for each year. So there are 2 years. So for those 2 years, each of the years, you get a 3,000 euro travel allowance, because you will be moving from one country to the other, going for your mobility. And then on top of that, you also get 1,000 euros in installation cost. That is usually given at the beginning of the program to help you to maybe, you know, get used to the area that you're going to be living in, the new city. You moving from your own country to a different country. Maybe there's several things that you need to actually maybe buy, or maybe just get yourself comfortable in the new country. So which means that you know, you are covered for the whole period of time. And then again, usually if your program this is very dependent on a program. So some of the questions usually are, will the program cover for the air ticket from my home country to my first country of mobility? The answer is yes and no, because this is very dependent on a program. So a program might tell you, hey, you know what, you have to cover your own flight, and then when you come, you know, once you get the travel allowance, usually it would cover for that particular cost. Alternatively, you can always email your consortium and request them to actually buy the flight for you, and then remove that cost of the flight from your travel allowance, such that you are very comfortable. Perhaps maybe you're at home, you're transitioning and all these kind of things, and you might not be able to foot the cost of your flight. So these are things that are usually covered. sponsored. Now, is this money enough for you to be living within Europe? What I will tell you for sure is that the participating countries, each of them have different cost of living, different cost of food, cost of transport, and all these kind of things. So what I usually say is, when you see your program and maybe perhaps you're having mobilities in maybe a country that has lesser cost of living and another country that has a higher cost of living, what you need to do in this case is do financial management, which means that in the country where the cost of living is lower, I would advise you to save up more in that country, so that by the time you're moving to a high cost of living country, like a high cost country, for example, maybe in the north of Europe, then you can be able to food for your accommodation, food, and all the nitty-gritties that come about with the mobility. So this is very important for you to know, that financial management is something that is very, very, very crucial for you as you are doing your Erasmus Mundus scholarship. In any case, it's very crucial for any type of scholarship, because again, you're being covered to study, and so you also need to make sure that you are doing a sort of balance whereby, for instance, if you're getting an accommodation, maybe you would be okay with sharing accommodation, or you can be able to join up with friends or people who are actually doing the same course that you're doing, and then you can be able to share the house in different cities, and that way you reduce your cost of accommodation, as well as maybe ultimately reduce your general cost of living, and so on and so forth. Now, another thing that I want to mention is that for new programs that began signing their contracts from 2021, as you may already have noticed, is that the catalog now has 193 programs, which means that there are newer programs that just recently signed in their contracts, maybe from 2021 going on. Now, you will find that those programs might have a different financial structure, which means that they will be giving a blanket rate of 1,400 euros per month for the 24 months. And what this means, it's not that they are removing any type of allowances that used to be there. It's just for financial management's sake, they've been able to now restructure the amount of money that they're giving their candidates to a flat rate of 1,400 euros per month, and that way this amount usually covers for your travel, for your mobility, for your things to do with accommodation, food, and just general upkeep. So in any case, if you do your math, you will find out that this is just a little bit higher than the initial structure, whereby there used to be a 1,000 euros in stipend, as well as the 3,000 euros in travel allowance, and 1,000 euros in installation cost. But you will find that for the older programs, they will stick to the original structure, but for the newer programs, you will find this type of change. So now, once again, it's very important to do financial management, because I also remember during my Erasmus, I had to think very, very hard about things to do with, what am I buying, where am I living, is it going to be enough for me to 1,000 euros, is it going to be enough for me to cater for my accommodation, for food, for things that perhaps I would want to buy, for travel as well? Because again, Erasmus, the core of Erasmus is actually mobility, which means that you move from one country to the other as you study, or even traveling really within Europe. So I do hope that this video has cleared out that question, because it's a very generic question that's always asked on my social media. Is it legitimate? Yes, it is legitimate. We do have several alumni, and in fact, I'm also one of the alumni members of Erasmus, really. So Erasmus is very, very legitimate, and this question actually comes from Kenyan students, prospective students, and I would hope that you hearing this information and you listening to me, that you go ahead and shoot your shot, because yes, it is 100% legitimate. All right, I do hope that this video has been helpful to you. Please go ahead and subscribe, interact with me on the comment section, and until next time, bye.